Today, I want to tell you the worst price to put on any product. And I did it for almost 2 years and still doing it today. So hopefully you can learn from my mistakes so that you don't have to. When I was in college, I was a music business major. I wanted to record albums, book artists, sell out venues, be a bookie, a promoter. I wanted to make the show happen without ever having to step on stage. As I was learning in my classes, I wanted to take some of those skills that I was reading in books and see if I could apply them to real life. Now, I was going to school in a relatively small town. Music scene was very active. I volunteered at a local venue to do some promoting. Didn't do great, but me and my friends had this idea that, hey, we like to throw parties anyway. Why don't we see if we can make something out of this? So we created some branding, we did advertising, and Here the Shoals was born. The idea behind this was that we had parties is a stretch for what you call them. They were more like get-togethers where we just 15, 20 people all showed up at the same house and just hung out with each other, having conversations, playing board games, or watching a movie. But we wanted to take that feeling you get when you go to a concert and bring it into a more intimate environment. So the house I was living in had a basement. What I was doing, I was collecting contacts from all these artists from out of town that I was meeting at these shows at the venue that I volunteered at. I would connect with these people and I would tell them, hey, would you come back to town and do a show in my house? And you would be amazed how many of these artists sound like, yeah, that sounds like so much fun, I can't wait. So I booked the artists. Many of my classmates were aspiring artists. I had them be openers. I was building my own venue. I became a booking agent. And let me tell you the greatest flaw of my entire plan. Me and my friends would strategize marketing and say, the thing is, our number one competitor is Netflix. Students just want to stay in their dorm room, not go out. So how do we make sure that they come? My idea was to eliminate all hurdles that would get in the way. The show was BYOB. Entry was pay what you want. In layman terms, it was a free show. How could you turn that down? Artists came. We regularly had 40 to 60 people crammed into this basement, shoulder to shoulder, playing like indie folk, Americana. I mean, it was vibes. And at the end of every show, we passed around what we called the adventure hat, and people could put in cash or scan a code to Venmo as much as they wanted to give to the artist. And what I never did was take money from the artist. So I was doing all of this work, all of this mostly out of passion. I did this once a month for a year and a half. And it got to a point where I tried partnering with local businesses so that we could have a door fee, so that we could make money. And as time went on, and I tried to get people to show, it eventually just ended on its own. The last show had about 6 people in a print shop. They sat on the floor and they watched this guy sing and play on his guitar. And I stood in the back of the room, nearly crying. I was hurt. I had no one who I would call a friend was in attendance to that show. I felt like I had lost who I was. I lost the people who I associated with. Had nothing to do with this project, these shows, but it was something that I poured my heart into, and yet it failed. And this is the greatest lesson that I learned, that when you make something free, people will associate it with no value. That I could do anything else but this. If anything else comes up better, I'm gonna choose that because I'm not committed to this financially or emotionally. Calling something free or pay what you want is essentially signing a death wish because there's no value in the product. At the end of the day, making something free is borderline making it say, I have no value. It's hard to ask people for money, essentially. How can I value myself to a degree to make someone spend money that they've earned, not on entertainment or food or even to pay their rent, but to just give it to me. What value am I supplying? And that's one of my biggest struggles as in this YouTube creator space is I don't know yet what value I'm giving. Is this entertaining? Is this learning? Is this educational? What is it that I could offer someone like you that you would give even $1 for? You see, there was this essay, I forget the author's name, and that's a shame. But the whole idea is having 1,000 superfans. If you had 1,000 people committed to buying whatever it is you sold, you can make a living. And then there's the 10% rule that says only 10% of your total audience will ever converge to being a client or a buyer of your product. So if I need 1,000 superfans, and for that 1,000 to only be 10%, I think I need 100,000 subscribers, viewers, audience to make that number work. And then, only then, do I have people who are willing to give me money. How do I then provide them, say, $100 worth of value? No, I want to give them $200 worth of value and pay me $100 for it. I want to give people something that they can't say no to. So what could I create annually that's $200 worth of value to get 1,000 people to pay for it $100 so that I could be a 6-figure YouTuber? It's insanity. It's crazy. It's stupid. I wanted to make YouTube videos so that I could essentially quit my job and move wherever I want in the world and work whatever hours I wanted to work. But I'm learning. It's just about making content. It's about having fun. It's about just doing the thing. So today, do it for free. Do it for $1,000. Do whatever you want. Just make sure that you always do the thing.